Welcome to the Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. The boycott has worked out. Coca-Cola softened its tone and is now looking for common ground. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem fires warning shots at the Biden administration. Her message to illegal immigrants: call me when you're an American. Following Arizona, Nebraska turns into a Second Amendment sanctuary state, reaffirming the state's gun rights. In the battle for free speech, My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell says users can begin signing up for Frank. The much anticipated launch is set for Monday. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. Democrats in the House and the Senate are reportedly preparing a bill to pack the Supreme Court, with 4 new justices, bringing the total to 13. Why are they asking for 4 more justices? Because the current bench has a Republican-appointed majority of 6-3. If Democrats are able to add 4 more seats, liberal justices will be able to outweigh conservatives by 1 to stand at 7-6. 3 representatives and 1 senator from the Democratic Party are now leading the legislation in 2 chambers. Despite the fact that 3 justices appointed by President Trump favored Democrats in almost every major issue since the 2020 election, Democrats still don't feel secure. They've been urging Biden to expand the bench since he took office. Interestingly, during Biden's Senate days, he described the move of packing the court as bonehead idea. But last Friday, he signed an executive order that creates a commission to explore possible reforms to the Supreme Court, including court packing and term limits. When a reporter asked White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Thursday how Biden feels about his Democratic colleagues pushing legislation to pack the court, she again gave ambiguous answers, as she often does. Psaki says Biden certainly understands that members of Congress have a range of views. He may or may not support it. Of course, the Democrats wouldn't say straight up their court packing is for political control. They have found a safe term to explain their motive. Democrat Representative Mondaire Jones tweeted on Wednesday, "Supreme Court expansion is infrastructure." Later, when Representative Jim Jordan questioned, "Does expanding the Supreme Court count as infrastructure too?" Jones replied, "Yes," with a heart. The heart really seems quite odd, and it looks like Jones is obsessed with the idea, but Biden hasn't added court packing to his infrastructure package yet. Even Nancy Pelosi doesn't back the bill. When asked on Thursday if she would commit to bringing the proposal to a vote, Pelosi said, "No, but the past taught us you can't take people like Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi at their word." Sometimes Pelosi holds back until the time is right. In July 2017, Democrat lawmakers Al Green and Brad Sherman first filed an impeachment article against President Trump. At the time, Republicans controlled both the House and the Senate. Pelosi strongly opposed the idea. She called it divisive and suggested lawmakers wait for the Russian hoax investigation report. The report came out in April 2019 with no evidence of Russian interference. The Russia path to impeach Trump became unfeasible. So Democrats next tried the Ukraine path, based on phone call President Trump had with the president of Ukraine. By this time, Democrats had taken back the House and Pelosi was ready to make a move. She announced a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump in September 2019, and the House voted for impeachment in December. Scenes of Trump's second impeachment are still fresh. Pelosi was the champion of that effort, so how much could you trust her? Besides her no answer, Pelosi and Biden, quote, is taking the right approach to have a commission to study such a thing. We know Biden has been busy rolling out the long list of radical agendas at the bidding of the far left, but red states and conservatives have never stopped fighting back. There are a couple of bits of news in this regard from this week. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem on Wednesday fired warning shots. Noem told the Biden administration in advance that not to ask her state to accept illegal immigrants.
What I have determined by watching the actions of this president is that he is making America unsafe. These are people that are crossing our border illegally. We do not know who they are. Multiple news sources have told us that we have people on the terrorist watch list that are getting into this country this way, and they're not going to find a place here in South Dakota.
Noem also tweeted South Dakota won't be taking any illegal immigrants that the Biden administration wants to relocate. My message to illegal immigrants: call me when you are an American. Noem's position is similar to other Republican governors. On Monday, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster signed an executive order barring the federal government from placing unaccompanied minors in foster care and group homes in the state. The governor's order addressed the well-being of South Carolina's most vulnerable children who, in an already strained system, would be displaced by the influx of illegal immigrants. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds and Nebraska Governor Pete Ricketts also stated they declined requests from the federal government to house unaccompanied minors. On the same day, April 14th, Nebraska turned into a Second Amendment sanctuary state. In light of recent federal gun control proposals and Biden's executive actions, Governor Pete Ricketts signed a proclamation that designates his state as a Second Amendment sanctuary state, reaffirming the state's support for gun rights. Ricketts says the White House and U.S. Congress have announced their intention to pursue measures that would infringe on the right to keep and bear arms. His designation will stand up against federal overreach and attempts to regulate gun ownership and use. Around the country, there's a great message for all Americans. Boycotting large corporations work. Yesterday, we reported in the aftermath of Georgia's election reforms, hundreds of businesses and individuals co-signed a statement advocating for voting rights. While major corporations such as Amazon, Google, Starbucks, Netflix have signed on, the two hardest hammered companies, Delta and Coca-Cola, were absent. Both Delta and Coca-Cola are based in Georgia. After Governor Brian Kemp signed the new voting bill into law, the two companies bent to the left's misleading claim about the new law, saying it's suppressing people's rights to vote. Republicans, including former President Donald Trump, immediately fought back. They publicly called for boycotting Delta, Coca-Cola, and a number of other dishonest corporations. Trump said, "It's finally time for Republicans and conservatives to fight back. We have more people than they do by far. Don't go back to their products until they relent. We can play the game better than them." Senator Rand Paul made an appearance on Fox News saying, "If they want to boycott us," referring to the MLB All-Star game leaving Georgia, "why don't we boycott them?"
And they're doing it because they don't like a Republican law, a law that actually expands voting and doesn't contract voting. Georgia now has more early voting than New York has. So it's kind of ridiculous. Even the facts don't meet what they're trying to do. But my point is, yeah, if they want to boycott us, why don't we boycott them? This is the only thing that will teach them a lesson. If Coca-Cola wants to only operate in Democrat states and wants only Democrats to drink Coca-Cola, God love them. We'll see how well they do it.
Well, people aren't traveling that much during the pandemic anyways, so the call probably doesn't make much difference yet for Delta. But for Coca-Cola, it's another story. At least I've heard a number of people around me are boycotting its products. It's also a good test of the former president's popularity. Nonetheless, at the very least, 73 million Americans voted for Donald Trump last year. Coca-Cola should be concerned. On Wednesday, April 14th, the soda giant wrote a letter to the Washington Examiner regarding election legislation. Coca-Cola said, quote, "We remain open to productive conversation with advocacy groups and lawmakers who may have differing views. It's time to find common ground." Coca-Cola has softened its tone and now wants to find common ground. But the company should retract its misleading claims and apologize to Georgians and all of Americans. Until it relents, the boycott continues. Okay, I want to take a moment to introduce the Eye Opener merch store. We received thousands of comments from people simply saying, "Thank you for sharing truthful news." And that makes the team and me pleased, as this is our #1 goal. So we developed a merch line that is an extension of the show, Sharing the Truth. The overarching theme is messages that matter, messages that are rooted in the truth. I don't know about you, but I feel like the truth has become a scarce commodity. So here at the Eye Opener, we will be the stewards of truth. We'll take truthful messages and apply them to merchandise, which in turn allow them to matter. Now, I'm excited to unveil our very first products. We have taken messages that matter, put them on simple mugs that didn't matter, and now they're mugs that matter. The mugs that matter will have 2 collections to start. First is our presidential collection. This collection will have timeless wisdom and truths from former presidents so that when you drink, not only will you be inspired, but everyone around you will also be inspired too. Our second collection is our anti-communism collection. As we're being attacked by far-left progressives, or we can just call them communists, we want to spread the truth about communism. Now, when you're at work or at home enjoying your favorite drink, You'll also be sharing the truth. Most importantly, you'll be provoking conversations that help those who have been deceived and simply don't see the inherent evil in communism and the grave threat it is to American freedom and, quite frankly, to the world. So please help us spread the truth. We need to become financially independent from YouTube so that we can expand our platform. It's become obvious that YouTube is stifling this channel's growth, removing subs and shadow banning us. We'll not tolerate being censored anymore, and will not sit back and do nothing. This is the first step of many, and I can't wait to share with you what we have planned in the near future. The link will be in the description, and I would greatly appreciate your support. So let's make a toast. Everybody raise your cup, and let's toast to the truth and our commitment to freedom. Salute. In 2017, President Trump cut $33 million from the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. He reinstated the Mexico City policy that bars U.S. foreign aid to non-governmental organizations that fund or otherwise support entities that provide abortions. On Biden's very first day in office, he revoked the Mexico City policy. The 2022 discretionary budget request indicates taxpayers are going back to funding UNFPA. UNFPA alleges that it supports global population and reproduction health. But the reality is the UN group supports abortion globally and has praised China's abusive population control program, which include forced abortions and forced sterilization of women. One horrific example of CCP's population control came to light in 2016, when a couple became pregnant with an unauthorized child. The government kidnapped the husband and beat him until the mother had an abortion. Official data from the CCP's health ministry shows over 330 million abortions have been performed since the implementation of the one-child policy. In 2015, the policy was replaced by two-child policy. The CCP continues to use the claim of overpopulation to justify its brutal population control practices. On Tuesday, a group of 40 House Republicans led by Representative Chip Roy introduced a bill to protect Americans from having to fund the pro-China agency, UNFPA. Roy said American tax dollars should never directly or indirectly support taking of innocent human life through abortion or the dehumanizing act of involuntary sterilization. And they certainly shouldn't be used to support the oppressive, American-hating Chinese Communist Party in any way whatsoever. Trump is considered the most pro-life president in history. Besides his accomplishment in stopping the funding of groups that promote abortions overseas, he made groundbreaking achievements for the pro-life movement domestically as well. Trump appointed 3 pro-life judges to the Supreme Court. In 2019, he enacted a new rule that blocked $60 million in Title X family planning funding to Planned Parenthood and a number of other abortion providers who refer girls or women for abortions. However, on Wednesday, multiple sources reported the Biden administration has begun the process of restoring Title X funds to abortion providers like Planned Parenthood. While Biden's new policy hasn't been finalized, it signals a step towards undoing a significant portion of the previous administration's pro-life achievements. Project Veritas released the 3rd part of its CNN Exposé series. CNN technical director Charlie Chester admitted that CNN is helping BLM.
I was trying to do some research on like the Asian hate, like the people are getting attacked or whatever. A bunch of black men that have been attacking Asian. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to like help like with the BLM and like we're gonna like, I mean, it's individuals, it's not a people, you know. That's not good. The optics of that are not good.
He said that if the suspect of a shooting is not black, all of a sudden the story loses a little steam from it, they just leave it be. During Project Veritas' previous releases, Chester admitted CNN was working to oust Trump.
We brought in like so many medical people to like all tell a story that like it was all speculation. That he was like neurological damage, like that he was losing it, he's unfit to, you know, whatever. We were creating a story there that we didn't know anything about. You know, so that's I think that's propaganda. You know?
Chester also revealed CNN played up COVID-19 death to sell fear for ratings.
COVID, gangbusters were rated, right? Which is why we constantly have the death toll on the side, which I have a major problem with, that we're tallying how many people die every day. Because I've even looked at it and be like, let's make it higher. Like, why isn't it high enough, today? Like, it would make our point better if it was higher. Because that's not scary. I would imagine that's why they don't do it. Yeah.
That's what I figured.
If it bleeds, it leads. Yeah.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Yep.
I like that.
I think no one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious based on the amount of stories that we do.
Chester said there will be a COVID fatigue, but they got plans to continue selling fear.
And our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
What does that look like?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it's just going to be like constantly showing videos of like decline in ice and weather warming up and like the effects it's having on the economy and really
Who
diving into
decides that?
the head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker. Yeah, I imagine that he's got his counsel.
Remember how Twitter blocked Hunter Biden's laptop scandal when the New York Post first released it? Well, here comes another one. During the week of CNN expose, Twitter permanently suspended Project Veritas' founder James O'Keefe's account for, quote, violating the Twitter rules on platform manipulation and spam, and, quote, misleading others on Twitter by operating fake accounts. Donald Trump Jr. tweeted that CNN and Twitter are on the same team. O'Keefe will file his lawsuit against Twitter for defamation on Monday. He said that they'll get into the discovery of Twitter's operations. O'Keefe also announced his intention to sue CNN after anchor Ana Cabrera made disparaging on-air remarks about Project Veritas. Project Veritas hasn't lost a lawsuit. It recently won a defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. We are waiting for another win. In the ongoing battle for free speech, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell announced on Steve Bannon's War Room Pandemic that his social media site Frank is set to launch on Monday, April 19th at 9 a.m. after a series of delays. Lindell says users can start signing up on frankspeech.com to be alerted of the launch.
Right now, or just get your name on here, get signed up for early VIP viewing. You're going to have exclusive viewing Thursday night at midnight. And so put your phone number in now, get signed up, and you will be alerted, a text message alert, to where you can get on at midnight. And then on Monday morning at 9 a.m., we're going to have the biggest launch. It's going to be a 2-day, I call it a Frankathon. I'm going to be on there live all day long and for the 2 days.
Lindell has sacrificed a lot in his fight for free speech. At least 20 retailers dropped his products, which cost him about $65 million alone this year. The 59-year-old CEO is also facing a $1.3 billion lawsuit from Dominion over his election claims. Not only that, but in March, Lindell told Business Insider that he hasn't been back to Minnesota, his hometown, for 2 months. He said if there are people capable of destroying companies and thinks to cancel people out, he doesn't want to put himself, his family, or others in jeopardy. But despite everything, Lindell is not backing down. In addition to launching Frank, Lindell also announced he'll be launching a patriotic rival to Amazon called My Store. Lindell says My Store will be an online marketplace for entrepreneurs to sell a wide range of products. Currently, Mike's MyPillow website already features a preliminary version of My Store. Lindell says the number of products is expected to grow exponentially in the month ahead. Now, I sincerely wish Mike Lindell great success. He's such an inspiration to us all, standing tall for what he believes. And that's it for today, my friends. Please like and share, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. You can join me on the Eye Opener Telegram chat room. You can also follow me on YouMaker, Gab, Parler, and Telegram. Now don't forget, please sign up to the email list so that we can stay in contact with each other. I want to thank you all, and I'll see you next time.